What's up everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today, or in this series, actually I want to show a little bit on how you could make moving doors or handle doors with perhaps a timer, with a switch, or opening them with a key. In the first video I'm just gonna make an easy door with a switch which will change color when you open the door, like you can see in this video. Let's get right into it. I've set up this little scene here, also from the game Emily's Adventure. It's in the comments, so please check it out. And the idea is that I'll make here a door and perhaps here a switch. Of course, the switch could be anywhere in the level if you want to make it tricky, but this is just to show the concept. So let's just get started. I've got some building blocks, and there should also be a door here. Let's see how we can actually make this. Before I'm actually going to put the elements, I'm going to add another folder in the player level. And perhaps we call this gates. And within the first one, it's just going to be gate 1. And within gate 1, there will be all the different elements of this gate. And in this case, I'm just going to start with adding a door. First, I'm going to have a door, and it's in the default layer as always. I want to have it in the player layer. There's one piece. Door 1. I'm going to add another piece of the door. Put it in the player layer. I think it's this piece at the outside. Something like this, and then of course I need the door. These are actually the pillars, and this will be the door. I'm gonna put it here, like something like this, and let's put this door in such a way that it's right. Perhaps we can put this one in front of the player, so in a positive number, and the door I want to be in a negative. Let's make it -5, and the best way to do it also is, or make it even -10, that is actually, if it opens or it goes down to close, that it disappears behind your background. So I just put some random background here, some stones, and if the door slides down you won't be seeing it. So there was the door. No, this was the door. I should rename this. So this is actually the door. This is, let's say, pillar 1 and pillar 2. And here's the door. And pillar 1, pillar 2 is also -10. The door is, see, I actually didn't move the door. The door should also be, let's say, -9 then, because I want to have it in front of this one. Good. And perhaps we can move these 3 a little bit here. As you can see, if I slide it down, the pillar in front will stay in front and the others will go behind, which is the idea behind this platform. So I've got a lot of platforms here. They're on -5. Alright. So now to add something else, we're going to add a switch. Just going to add it here. And it's going to be in default all the time. It's kind of annoying. It's a little bit big, but I would like to have, let's say, a switch here on top. Just going to make it smaller, 0.3. In the transform button, 0.3. So there we have now a little switch. Yeah, is it maybe too small? Perhaps make it 4. There we go. There, a proper switch. I'm also just going to put it on -5. Behind the platform. Of course, it's up to you. If this is now, I made a little crystal here. That's a little bit the theme of my game, but this could also be a button, something else, which a lever which switches or moves a little bit. And let's make this the blue crystal. And if it shines blue, it's open. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna duplicate this one And what is nice in this game that you can, or within Unity, you can change the color. I'm just gonna make this one red. I'm gonna call this one the red crystal. So it's red. And what would be nice is actually to put on this a light, so we can actually have there a kind of a light effect. And I want it to light the player target, so you can always make lights and give them a target sorting layer. So currently this light's only lighting the default, which in my case are perhaps some objects in the background. I want to have it to light the player, and you can see now it actually looks as if this is shining. I can change the shape here a little bit. Whoops, there we go, something like that. So now it has the effect that as if this is like a little bit lighting up in this area. Of course I can change the color of this light if necessary to another color, but I think the white light here is actually very helpful. I'm just gonna put it here with the other lights. So what I want to do is pretty much have them switch. For example, on the Z, they're now minus. This is never good. This should just be all zeroed out. But for example, if I now change, you can either change the layer of the crystals or the Z-axis. And for example, if I now change this to a 5, then nothing happens because I should put it in the positive. See, I put it now, let's say, in front of the red crystal, and then it looks as if you get the effect that it changes. So put it back to here, there, and it switches. So this I can make, let's say, in the Playmaker function, I can make them change the position. I can actually also put them on 0 and put this also on -1. Something like this is also possible. Perhaps this platform should also be on 0 then. There we go. Yeah, it's always important to have your transform everything on 0. This helps a lot in your level creation. And this platform was also -5. That's why they're mixing up. If they're all on the same layer in the same order, then they will look at the Z value. Yeah, so perhaps I'll just make this 4. I'm just sure that this one will stay on top. All right, so we have these crystals in place, and the red one is now -1, and for some reason this is in front. Actually, I would expect if it's positive that it's in front, but in this case it's negative. Play around with this a little bit. This could be different in your case. Now what I also want to add is a target for the door, because I want to make it slide down. I can also of course do this again with a transform to put the position, but then let's say the door would just disappear, and I want to have this kind of slide effect to have the door slide down. And I just want to do this by creating an empty on the same location. Just gonna drag this out. I'm just gonna call this target, or the door target closed. Just gonna duplicate this and door target open, and make sure not to just to drag it on the green axis. I want to drag it down there so that the door goes straight down. Of course, you can make any door you like. It can also go up, fly up, or in whatever direction. But no, this is how I made it. Let's call this door. Good. And we're gonna add one more thing. Just gonna create an empty, and this is the trigger. This one is what the magic will, or where the magic will happen. Add a component, a box collider. Yeah, let's just put it around the switch. We'll make it a trigger, and let's just put it here on top of the switch. It's quite easy, nice easy box. And within this trigger, we're going to just add a finite state machine. And as usual, we are going to start with a trigger action. So let's see. Trigger to the event on trigger when colliding with the player. Now, as always, I have to go here, and I realize the tag is Emily. Let's change it to player. This tag can be anywhere for everyone different, so please make sure to check that. Let's go back to the player level, back to the trigger. On collision with player, we're just gonna finish this state. Finished, and we're just gonna call this the trigger state. And we're gonna add one state here. And this is, let's say we change the color of the crystal. Color change of the crystal. I mean, let's just call it a switch because it's nothing more than a switch, and it can be anything. It can also be a potato or banana. It doesn't really matter what it is. So let's add here. How we're gonna do this? We are going to make a property change. Set property of, let's say, and then we have to switch the Z pretty much for the red crystal to 0 and the blue crystal to -1. That would pretty much do it. So let's put the red crystal. I'm gonna go to transform, position. It can be, you can also just put the Z only or a factor 3, it doesn't really matter. And we're just gonna put here then the value of, it's a good question, what was it now again? Of 0. This one should be 0. And we're just gonna add the same property, but this for the blue crystal. And we're also gonna add a transform, and we set the position to -1. Does that make sense? And then we're going to finish. Should we check if this actually works? Yeah, let's check. Oh, it's opening it in full screen. Not sure if you want that. Let's pause it once. Whoops. Let's not maximize. Get back so we can actually see what's happening here. There is a small checkpoint. Jump. Whoop. We cannot see this platform. There is a platform though. It's probably because of this Z-axis problem. And it changed color, but the issue is it also changed position. And the reason for that is, of course, obvious, because we made it a whole value set, because we had here 0, 0, 0. So what I should actually just do is transform position and only do the Z. And there we put it on 0, and here we do transform position and only the Z -1. And let's just put this here on 500. For some reason in this level at 450, then we can actually see this platform. I suppose this level is all front. This is a common mistake. The whole level is not on a 0 axis, but on a different axis. So please be careful in your game not to do this. Let's test it again. See if it actually switches the color now correctly. Let's put on the trigger so we can actually see what it's doing. Whoops. Oh. Jump. And it changes color. That's good. We could also add a sound effect here. Let's just do that. Sound, play sound. And perhaps remove any sound. Let's just put here some random sounds. And good. And then after it switches, I just want to have this door opened. So I'm just going to add here a state. We call it now open door. And for this one, it's going to be easy again. Just going to move object, and we're just going to move the door. No, sorry, we're going to specify object. This has to be the door, and the destination has to be the door target open. And perhaps we can just make it open slowly or fast. And then we're just going to finish. Oops, wrong one. Add transition, finished. And after it open, I just want to wait, have it await, not that I can trigger this trigger right away. Just wait, let's say 3 seconds, like finished, and finished. And afterwards, I just want to make sure that it can also reverse. So I'm just going to copy this first state, which is a trigger state again, and just press no. I don't want to make it a starting state. And I'm just going to wait, and then it will just be in this, let's say in this trigger state, to wait for me to walk in it again, if I want to open it again. So let's see if that actually, so it's going to be trigger again. In case triggered, I want to change the color again of my switch. Just going to copy this over, and instead the red cursor should be now -1 and the blue one should be 0. It's because I want the red one in front again. And then I'm just going to copy this open door, copy paste. I'm going to call this closed door, and I'm just going to change the destination to target closed. Of course, I need to connect them. Then the door is closed. Oops, this is the waiting state. Make sure to always name your states. Just gonna also put the wait again. Oops, this is the wait. Thank you very much. Hope you can see it. Wait 3 seconds, and the circle is complete. So if everything goes well now, I have a door with a sound and a trigger. Let's see if it works. So I'm gonna switch the door. You see the door is open. I'm just gonna wait. Now it's gonna wait and for me to trigger. And the trigger is set to enter, so I need to enter the trigger zone. In this case, I need to jump up once. Triggered, it's red again. The door is back and it's waiting. And now it's in the trigger state again. It wants me to trigger it again. And there you go. The door is open again. Waiting. And boom. It's closed. And one thing I forgot is to put a collider on the door. Alright, so on this door I'm just going to add here, let's say a box collider. And let's say put it in the middle, slide it down here a little bit. I don't want to make this any ground or something, not that I can wall jump against it or use some tricks. Just gonna put it perhaps a little bit higher. And I also noticed that this pillar, it should be a little bit more in the front, 10, because my character only was halfway in. So of course you need to play around with this. I'm not sure how your player is set up. Some elements, for example, the element of the left arm of my character is in a minus, and the right arm is in a plus order in the layer. Yeah, to give it the fact that it actually the arm is behind the character. Let's see now. Let's try it once more time. So, oh no, we found a door, and I can't get through. Okay, what should I do? Trigger, and I open the door, and voila! My character actually gives a light, and it also shines on this pillar. To change that is quite easy. Just make this, let's say, the front pillar here, perhaps a foreground or another layer, because for every light you can actually choose which layer they are lighting. And if I change it like this, the door should actually be complete. It opens. It disappears fully behind. Okay, a little bit here, there, a little bit. All right, this is fixable, but that's how we do it. And then we enter the brewery. You can see that the brewery in the background is making a lot of beers. Yeah, very nice. Good. I hope this is helpful. What you can, of course, do is put this trigger somewhere totally different in the area. And perhaps in the next video, I want to show you a method how to open a door with a bool function, so that you actually need to pick up a key somewhere in the level, and then with the key you can open the door, and you don't need a switch. All right, I hope this was helpful. See you next time.